WECU 1570 AM and W298BX 107.5 FM, Winterville, North Carolina. WNOS 1450 AM and W272EK 102.3 FM, licensed to New Bern, North Carolina.
Motivations with Glenn.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM, 1570 AM, WECU, Awesome Radio Network. You are tuned into the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. We have a very interesting topic of discussion today, listener request. The topic of discussion is senior dating. Do's, don'ts, red flags, and what have you. And we are so excited to have this topic. Like I said, listener requests, all happening now here on the Glenn Johnson Show. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Hey, Dr. Glenn, and to our listening audience on today. This is a very interesting and exciting topic. I want to say to our listening audience today, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, we're talking about senior dating. And so I don't know exactly what we want to classify as senior. So
I believe the research says that any person that's 55 and over.
So I don't consider 55 a senior. I consider that kind of midlife, but hey, these tips are gonna be good for young, old, or whatever age, but I think that seniors need to be a little bit more cautious with dating versus, the younger people. Well, but everyone needs to have common sense and good sense.
Well, I do know for a fact that you can get an AARP card at 55, so you are a senior.
Yeah, you definitely can, but I don't, like I said, I don't consider that. I think 65 or retirement age and up is considered a senior. That's my personal opinion, but hey, some people feel like a senior at 55, you know?
You are a senior at 55.
Yes, so these tips are going to be good for everyone. I'm excited about it and to see, some of the feedback that we get from this. This, as Dr. Glenn said, was a show that was suggested to us by our listening audience. I want to say to you today that if you have a particular subject or something that you would like for us to address or talk about or create a show with, we'll definitely do that. And today is showing that we definitely listen to our viewers and we hear what they have to say, and what's important to you is also important to us at the same time.
And if you have an idea or something of interest, please don't hesitate to email me at GlennJohnsonShow@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to bring that forward. And let me just mention off of one document. Dating as a senior involves unique priorities. I'm going to stop right there, Paul.
Wait, we have a caller calling in already.
Caller, if you would call back, please. I don't know what happened just now. I hit the right button, so I don't know what happened. If that caller would call back, we'll get your call on the air. But let me go back to what I was saying. Dating as a senior involves unique priorities, focusing heavily on companionship, emotional security, and shared interests while navigating modern digital tools and personal safety. That is so true.
Yeah, so I want to start, Dr. Glenn, by saying that people need, whether seniors or not, but especially seniors, you need to define what exactly you mean by dating. And I have some ideals and things that may be more traditional. Hey, we got that caller calling in right now on the air. Dr. Glenn?
I'm going to try that one more
caller?
time. Yes. Yes, caller, you are live on the air on the Glenn Johnson Show. You have a comment or question?
Surprise, it's the Pepper Man.
Hey, Pepper Man.
Hello?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
Very good. I just want to advise you
Well,
this. I just want to advise you
I
this.
can't wait to hear the topic on the day on the scene.
Yeah. I just want to advise you. I just want to advise you there's some static in your background.
What you say?
There's some static in your background noise.
Oh, you hear background. Okay.
You got
How about now?
the air conditioner on or something? He probably had the air conditioner up high.
It's gone. I don't hear it now.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, hey, Pepperman, it's good to hear and see you. I have been asking about you and waiting to hear you on, and I'm so glad to see you back on with us today.
Yes, I have missed y'all. I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't forgot you.
Good.
And, y'all still doing very good topics. I've been listening. And by the time I get ready to call, it's time for y'all to go off the air. So I decided to do a little early this time.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Well, we thank you so much for calling in, and we hope you get some good tips here when we're talking about senior dating on today.
Sound good. I'll be listening.
All right. You get a chance, you could call us back. Hey, you have a good day,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, same to y'all.
Thanks, Pepper Man.
Oh.
So, Dr. Glenn, what I was saying before the caller called in, our friend Pepperman, is I started to say that you need, as a senior or whoever dating, you need to define what dating is.
Exactly.
And, because dating means different things, to different age groups and to different, sex of people. Dating could mean, it has a lot of different meanings. So you have to define what dating is.
That's good, because let me ask you a question. Would you consider dating a relationship?
The relationship, it could be that they're dating and in a relationship. They're dating each other exclusively and they're in a relationship. But now I just want to put out my traditional ideas. I have to put it out there, Dr. Glenn. This is a Christian radio station and we have some Christian ideas here. Specifically, I'm against dating.
Because you're married.
Yeah, right. Because I'm married, but not just that. But even before I was married, I believe that, and I'm not saying that you can't meet people and go out, but dating, I think you need to be specific about it. Dating to me is like a recreational thing.
Well, I'm single and I have some dating preferences.
Okay, well, and listen, if anybody is interested in Dr. Glenn, you can call or email, send an email to the Dr. Glenn Show, and we will make sure that you get it. Address it to me. I will make sure that he gets it. And, he just said he has some preferences, but he's always told me that he's against. But maybe it's just marriage. Maybe we'll clarify. You'll date, but you won't get married.
I'm not against it. I'm just allergic.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's what you always say. You're allergic.
Let me tell you what one of my preferences are. I preferably date someone that's older. I don't want to date anybody that's younger. We might be out at a restaurant at dinner or something, and she'll be like, "Stop making faces at me." And I'm like, "I'm not making faces at you. I'm having a stroke." So I need to date somebody that knows signs and symptoms of different medical situations.
Well, and I do have that on as one of my points here is to date within your league. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, they date or they're with someone, but let me finish what I was saying and then I'll go into that about what I believe dating. I believe that it should be courtship for covenant. That you are, if you out there, you know, out there with the women, it should be that you're looking for a wife or that you're looking for someone to be in a relationship with so that it can end ultimately in marriage. And I just don't believe in this casual swinging all around and stuff. We're a Christian radio station here, and we're talking about Christian values, which doesn't mean that you can't go out with people and have fun. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that if you are out there, you're hungry, you're thirsty for somebody in your life, that companionship, God doesn't respect or honor any relationship outside of marriage.
And since you said that, I'm going to ask you a question when we come back from the break. So take us on the break, then I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah, so what do you think about that? God doesn't understand, and you can call in and weigh in on that. He does not accept any relationship or look upon anything else except marriage. You could be friends. I'm not saying you can't be friends, but I'm saying if you're out there and it's intimacy, an intimate relationship, something that you want to keep in your life, that needs to be going towards marriage and not just out here long-term friendship, long-term situationship, long-term, you know, sexual friend with benefits. All of those things, God does not, he does not allow it. So I'm going to come from the perspective that you're dating because you're going to find your wife or you're looking for your husband or you're looking for someone to be permanent. Hey, we're getting ready to go out on this break. This is the Glenn Johnson Show right here on Awesome Radio Network. Come on back with us. We'll be right back in a moment.
Do you have documents that need to be notarized? We provide notary services by appointment. 252-756-3137. Coming to Greenville. God Has Something to Say Revival from Monday, August 3rd through Friday, August 7th, 7:30 each night. Hosted by Apostle Mary Mahone, along with Truth and Life Deliverance Ministry, located at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. Guest speaker, Prophet Benny Dixon, along with Pillars of Faith Prophetic Ministries of Kinston. So mark your calendars for Monday, August 3rd to Friday, August 7th, 7:30 p.m. nightly at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. God Has Something to Say Revival.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome
right,
back, ladies
Dr.
and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. I see Apostle over in her section of the studio with her sticky pads and pen and paper and writing stuff down. So let me go to the question I have for her, then she can move on. So I want to ask Apostle, where is a great place to meet someone? Would it be, I know it wouldn't be a bar, would it be a restaurant, something of that nature? Would it be a church? Because people have different ideas about meeting somebody at a church. Because if you do date somebody that you met at church, as you progressively go through the relationship, they might say, hey, you met me at church. Did you come to serve the Lord or did you come to get me?
Well, and a lot of times that's what people are. That's where the good women are. They're in church. You know, there's more women there than there are men in the church. So I would say, you know, there is no particular place to meet a man or meet a woman. If you're just out living life, you go to the grocery store, you go places, you go out, you could possibly meet someone. I mean, even online. There are people that have met their husbands, met their wives online, but it could be a sticky situation. It could have more implications with it and more cautions. Definitely looking at someone online. You never know where you're going to see. You know, in the Bible, Boaz saw Ruth. She was out there working in the field.
Yeah.
She was gleaning behind the gleaner. She was out there picking some fruit or something from the field that was left behind. And, you know, it was almost like pretty much like she was on a welfare system. She was taking what was left behind or the overage that was left, and she was getting it and selling it. She was working. He saw her out there gleaning in the field.
Well, you mentioned online dating. I would be against online dating for a couple of different reasons. You don't know who you're dealing with, and they might have a profile picture. If you do decide to meet up with the person, that person's not going to look anything she looked like on that profile picture. Plus, you're setting yourself up to get in a sticky situation. You know, you have to be mindful of danger. She might say, oh, yeah, I'm single. You might arrive at the place and find she does have a boyfriend. That boyfriend is ready to do some danger.
Definitely. And that's what I was going to say. Never consider meeting up with anyone that you have not made an ocular with.
Yeah.
You know, make sure they look, FaceTime me. You're telling me you want and you like me or whatever. Let's FaceTime. First of all, do that first before you get into any other conversation. You know, FaceTime them. If that face does not match up and they come up with some excuse about why they cannot FaceTime you, scratch that off. You don't even consider. Don't waste time with that, because people play games. Sometimes you might even think that you're talking to a male or female, as Dr. Glenn said, and it's the same sex, and they're sitting right there. Another thing is, don't put too many things online if you're single, because you don't want them to see you going on trips, what kind of car you drive, that you have a house and all these things. And here they come. They've picked you out because they're trying to be an opportunist and looking for someone that already has a table. See, we use that term, what are you bringing to the table? There's a lot of times people know what you have on the table because they're watching you online.
My children's mom called me up one time a couple of years ago, had me delete half the things I had on my Facebook profile. She said, you're giving out entirely too much information. So I thought about it, I looked at it, I said, you're absolutely right. And she's married now, by the way. I went in and pulled a lot of stuff off of my Facebook profile.
Oh, yes. You got to be very secretive, because there are people that are just looking, they're not looking to date, they're looking to take advantage through dating.
That's right. And that's what I thought about. I'll share one other thing with you very briefly. So I did go on one of them sites just to check it, snoop around, check it out. A female contacted me through the website, but I knew there was some shaky stuff going on because of the conversation. I said, no. I'm not interested. I was just looking to try it out. But I'm not interested. You have a great day.
Dr. Glenn, you shouldn't have led them on. Don't put your picture out there and your information if you're not interested. If you're not fishing, take the worm off the hook. Don't put anything out there. If you can't eat, don't go to the buffet. Those are just some cute little quips to deal with that. But listen, I wanted to say too, you know, if you are not serious about looking for marriage or whatever, you just need somebody to hang out with, maybe you should not consider dating and should consider getting just a pet or getting a companion as a pet, because sometimes that's what it is. Other than that, you're just out there playing games. Dating is like a job interview, or those that you have a prospect for a relationship with that should lead to marriage. And so let me put it like that. It should be like a job interview.
Yeah.
Like you're interviewing this person to see if they're fit for you or fit for your life. And so anybody that's evasive, doesn't want to answer questions, or you see some red flags, then you need to question. I have it here. Be safe. Drive yourself. Don't ever meet anybody and let them come pick you up, and then now you don't have a ride home. Maybe things go bad, and maybe the date could go bad and end badly. You know, sometimes you don't want to deal with that. You see right away that their character or something doesn't operate in the integrity that you require. Put up your boundaries and let people know what are deal breakers. And if you already have your own list before you go, in your mind and in your spirit, of what it is that's a deal breaker. You know, sometimes there's certain things that just can't be in your life, and it's a deal breaker. And if that is it, then end it quickly. Don't drag out something that's a deal breaker. And I did talk about dating in your league. There are some obvious inequalities. You know that you have all this money, and you know you're very, very, you're old, or you're a senior to the point where you're non-functionable.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in a wheelchair or where you know you nothing is functioning, but you have all this money, and here's this wonderful supermodel looking 20-year-old that's coming to you wanting to marry you or trying to get in real quick with you. You have to be alert, you know, and sometimes people when they get older, they may not care. I don't care that they're over here using me for money. Maybe they're so lonely until they need or want that companionship any kind of way that they can get it. But
Yeah.
you don't want to have false people in your life.
You said something a moment ago about dress well, and I'm going to read one part. Dress well, wear clean, well-fitting clothes suited for the venue. You might be going to a particular venue. And pay attention to clean shoes and groomed nails. And I wanted to mention that part because it's not like if you're going for a job interview, particularly if you're male. Males, you have got a nice suit on, but you better pay attention to your pocket square. That's that square in your suit jacket pocket. Make sure it's suited well so it's a conversation piece. The person might look at that pocket square. That leads to a totally different conversation. And for the ladies like to wear hats. Make sure you wear a nice hat. That's a conversation piece as well. Apostle.
Yes, he talked about looking good. You know, sometimes as people get older, they stop caring and walking around looking like I don't know what. You know, your dandruff is falling out your hair, you're dry and flaky, and you haven't done anything. Keep yourself up. And listen, don't give all your good years out to the streets and out there dating everybody and being in all these relationships. And now you come dragging the crumbs in wanting to get married after everything doesn't work. But you gave everything and all of your good years out there and just wasted it, or you just lived riotous. And now you look like a bag of bones, or everything is hanging, and now you want to get married.
I got to tell you this when we come back from the break.
Okay. To our listening audience, you can call in today. The phone number here is 252-756-2008 if you'd like to weigh in on something that I said, and please don't be offended by bag of bones or anything else I'm saying. I'm just using an example here, and we want you to call in. I'm sure you have some things that you want to say and you want to add in. I promise you, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just being real here with what it is. What are you bringing to the table? Are you bringing the scraps and now you want to date and get married, or you want to look for somebody? Hey, call in and let us know today. You're listening to us right here, the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. We're right here on Awesome Radio Network, and we're going to be right back in a moment. Right back.
Hello, this is Cheryl Davis. Thank you for listening to the Awesome Radio Network.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you feel it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. Apostle mentioned calling if you have a comment or question, because we are down to our final 30 minutes of the broadcast. So call in. The number to call, 252-756-2008. I want to share something with Apostle when she was mentioning about dress well. Also for the men and females. Not only grooming your nails and making sure your shoes are polished, your overall appearance, but for the males, make sure your hair is very groomed well. For females, make sure your hair is groomed well. Those females that might have to wear a wig, there's nothing wrong with wearing a wig. And I'm going to share a brief story with you. I was invited out with this female one time before. Her hair was so short, I thought she had stitches. I had to get that in there.
Well, we see that Dr. Glenn doesn't like short hair. Apparently, he thought she had stitches.
I didn't mind. I'm just joking around.
Okay, all righty.
You know, I had to get one in there.
Yes. don't gloss over anything, and also don't be too available. If you're the only one making the effort, and I want to go on a second date with you, and you're the only one that's pushing forward with anything, you need to take those cues as red flags. You need to take and understand that both of you need to be, and the way they say it now is bringing the same energy. If that person is not bringing the same energy, you need to pay attention to that. Don't be so happy that you have someone till you're not paying attention that things are not equal there. One of the things it says here for senior dating tips is to meet in public. And I talked about that. Don't make a trip for Netflix and chill, and then how you dress is also telling that person something about you. How did you dress? Did you come classy and looking to get to know that person, or did you come sexy because you're trying to attract them in a different type of way? You're going to get out of it what you put in. And so if you put those particular vibes, that's how they call it, vibes out there, and you're half naked and half dressed, you're telling that person that that's what you're after there, or that you're an easy target and that you want to be looked upon sexually versus your intellect. So definitely watch how you do. And I'm not saying you can't be cute. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying make sure that that's not the total focus.
Apostle, we have 6 audio clips, but
Dr. Glenn, we're going to have to do a part 2.
yeah,
We can't do 6 audio clips today and all this stuff.
I was about to say I'm not gonna do all 6. I just made that decision. I'm gonna play 2, which would be about 2 and 3 minutes.
Okay.
Be honest with me. Have you ever met someone new after 70 and felt that spark, that rush that makes you feel alive again? That feeling is beautiful, but rushing into love too fast at this stage can bring more confusion than comfort. I've seen it happen so often. You meet someone wonderful, and before you know it, you're giving up your routines, skipping your quiet mornings, just to keep up. That's what happened to Mary, 74, and John, 78. They met, fell fast, and almost lost themselves in the rush. But when Mary slowed down, things got better, calmer, more balanced, more real. You see, love after 70 isn't about speed, it's about peace. Real companionship grows slowly with respect, laughter, and patience. So don't let anyone rush you. The right person will wait. If this message spoke to you, give this video a like. It helps other seniors find it too. And make sure to join the Golden Senior community. And when you're done, watch the full video attached. We'll talk more.
Hi, I'm Ken Solon, dating expert for top10bestdatingsites.com. A first date's really an interview for a life partner, but unfortunately a lot of seniors leave a first date completely confused about whether a second date makes sense. I'm going to give you 5 questions to ask on a first date that'll almost guarantee that you'll know whether or not a second date makes sense. Don't be shy about asking him, but at the same time, expect to have him turned around on you. It's only fair. What type of personal growth work have you done that reflects your interest in becoming a better man or woman or relationship partner? This question points to someone's relationship skills. Relationships invariably run into problems, and somebody who hasn't done any personal growth work may not have the emotional vocabulary or the emotional skills to resolve issues. And in the end, what happens is arguments just become circular and nothing gets resolved. This is a very important question to ask. Becoming someone's life support system isn't likely to get your relationship off to a good start. Consider what carrying somebody financially would mean, and also think about what you'd expect in return. What I've observed is that when one person supports the other, there's generally a quid pro quo, whether spoken or not. Financially.
Okay, I'm going to cut that short. Give Apostle a chance to respond. We have 4 minutes for this particular segment. Then we'll be back with our final 20 minutes.
Yes, Dr. Glenn actually heard on that particular audio some of the things that we have written down here on one of our papers, and it is on a paper called Dating Tip. And what it says here, and this was taken from a particular dating coach, and it says, what matters less than people think with dating and what matters more than people think with dating. That these are things that matter less and things that matter more. And one of the things I just heard him say, and this is things that matter more, these are things that you really need to pay attention to with dating and looking to be in a relationship with a person. And it's like the interview questions, emotional stability. And I heard those particular words on that particular audio. Is that person, do they have emotional intelligence? Yeah. How do they act? Do you need somebody that's popping off, angry all the time? They're going with you on the date and they're giving everybody the finger, yelling and screaming, and have no patience while they're driving. They mistreat people that are serving at the table, and they say nasty things and have a nasty mindset. And that's one of the points that said too much negativity. A lot of times people can hold themselves together in public or when they're meeting somebody, but that's not the true them. They're presenting their best face or their best foot forward, and then once you get to know them, you look and think, whatever made me even think to stop here, because this person is so negative, they're not anything that I want in a relationship.
Yeah, and as far as males trying to attach to a female, you got to remember, some females have what they call a committee. Some of them.
Girlfriends. It's not a committee. It's called girlfriends.
It's a committee. Got to go meet with the board.
That's right. And your issues are being brought. And that's the way it should be. You should have someone that you can confide in concerning. You should never be in a secret relationship and no one knows who you're with and no one has met that person. Because that's something wrong, and that's a red flag that you would be in secret unless it's something that you know already is a relationship that's non-acceptable.
Yeah, because sometimes you go meet somebody, then you realize that's just their representative. That's not really them.
Yes, I just saw a particular thing on social media where the woman just met the person in the airport and they decided to go and spend a vacation with them. And I said to her on this particular post on social media, I said, you better be careful. That could be somebody's husband. She said, oh, I hope not. That would be sad for me. That's what she said, but you just met him. And that's one of the red flags here, is going too fast. Yeah. Don't get in fast with people. You don't even know them.
They'll be looking for her. It should be up under somebody's porch.
Yes, or that somebody's coming over to your house to beat you up because that's their wife or that's their husband, and you didn't take time to see where they came from. You got to take things slow, and you need to straight out ask people. If you are deceived, it's because they lied to you, not because you didn't ask or you didn't look. That's right. That's what it needs to be. They straight out lied to you.
That's right. They straight up lied. Things got rough. Now somebody's acting a fool.
That's right. And so we're going to give some more tips. Oh, our break came so fast, and we're saying a lot on today. I still want to invite you to call in, and you could be live right here on the air with Dr. Glenn and myself. And if you have any questions or things you want to add, there's some more things that I want to say when we come back. But we have to go out on this break. We have to do it. We thank you today for listening and tuning in with this great subject. Dr. Glenn?
Ladies and gentlemen, after this break, we'll be back with our final 20 minutes. So if you would like to call, please don't hesitate to call 252-756-2008. But call after the break. We'll be standing by waiting for your call. This is Awesome Radio, 107.5 FM. Back in a moment.
Join our team of totally awesome volunteers. When you volunteer into the Awesome Radio Network family, you are valued and appreciated. Are you retired? Do you need something rewarding to do? Do you need community hours? We can be reached at 252-756-3137. We have several volunteer opportunities readily available for you to choose from. Awesome Radio Network is seeking self-motivated and positive volunteers who may be interested in learning how we do radio and community events. Visit our website to learn more, awesomeradionetwork.org. or reach us at 252-756-3137. Disclaimer: we vet our volunteers and reserve all rights to mutually accept or refuse.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. We have reached our final 20 minutes of today's broadcast, and Apostle said a few moments ago, perhaps we should do a part 2. Perhaps we can do that part 2 next week, because we're still waiting for the representatives from the North Carolina Wildlife Commission, and someone from Pitt County Animal Control to do our topic on bear, because there have been some recent sightings of bear in Pitt County, Winterville, and Greenville area, probably some others. So we'll probably do part 2 of senior dating next week. Apostle?
Yes. I want to say to you, talk about and look up that person's past. I know people say that the past is in the past, but there's some things from a person's past that could be operating in the present. And there are some things that you need to know about them. I mean, Google them. Let's not play, life is too precious for you to be playing Russian roulette with somebody that's out here playing games and pretending like they're interested in you.
That's right. And sometimes that person might have a criminal record.
That's what we're talking about.
But,
everybody. And listen, Dr. Glenn, as a senior, that person has been somewhere. They didn't pop up and just show up at your door. Where did they come from before they came to you? What is their track record? Maybe they killed the last person they were with, and now here you are dating somebody that bludgeoned somebody and hid their body in the woods.
That's what I was about to say.
Check them out. You need to know who. You can't find a trail. There is a trail. And that's a red flag there, not being able to find a trail. And then they need to be honest with you. Some things can't match your life.
That's what I was about to say. Not only do they might have a criminal record, some of them might have a criminal album.
Well, and then if they've done things, you're a family person with grandkids around you all the time, and they have had a certain record where they can't be around kids. You might better consider not putting that in your life or starting a relationship with someone that has that.
And somebody with a I'm trying to think of the word. Somebody with a record of that can't be around children. That's public information.
Right, or older people. Some people have done a crime against older.
That's right.
They on the registry for older people. Are they on the registry? What did they do with their own family? And now they're coming to mesh in and join in with your family to date you looking as if they want to have something. And then some of these people are already married. There's a lot of people that are going out and marrying other people, and they already married. Yeah. There's a lot of that going on. I know people personally that I have met, and they were the victims of that. And I mean, with the person like 4 or 5 years, and then find out that they were never their husband. They was already married to someone else, and everything they invested in them was null and void. So you have to be very careful and selective. Find out they came from somewhere. Somebody knows them. And then look at those people. If those are their relatives, they know. Those relatives know what's going on. They might be whispering behind your back, but they know what's going on. Watch them.
And the word I was looking for, was sexual register.
Yes.
They might be on the sexual registry. And when I mentioned they might have an album, I mentioned that because somebody's criminal history might be so lengthy, they might be an habitual offender.
That's right, especially with DV, domestic violence. And they have all these charges, beat up every girlfriend they had, and now here you are trying to beat a girlfriend. Watch yourself. You need to check out people, Google them, see what's going on with them. I mean, they may have robbed a bank, and maybe it's not any of those things, but maybe it's just not, they're just not compatible to you. Look and see, it said here, kindness, are they kind? Look and see if they're kind. Loyalty, are they loyal? Do they have a growth mindset? Because sometimes you're going somewhere in life and you're hooking up with somebody whose life is already over. They just want to sit around and do nothing. You still have aspirations for things, and they don't.
Particularly if you're male, particularly if you're female, you have to be very cautious of some of these males. Some of these males, and I don't know why they do this, because I know this from experience. Because I had to stop a few gentlemen in my various places of residency from doing this. They want to brag and boast about who they've been with, that person, this person, that person, when they're married. I said, please don't come telling me nothing about that, because obviously you're telling me so I can go tell your wife, or else you wouldn't be telling me.
Oh, yeah. And make sure that that person is not hooking up with you, trying to make you their change. Now, I remember I dated a particular individual, and they had been long term. We just wasn't matched. That's all it was. But you know, he was good looking and all that stuff, but we just didn't match because he had long term been on drugs. I didn't know anything about. I never even seen drugs before, and so that mindset of him coming out of that, and yes, he was trying to make a change, but he couldn't make that. I couldn't be the change for him. So he had to make it for himself.
So he was incompatible.
Incompatible, because I know nothing about all that stuff he's talking about, and you know he's been in the drug house and stuff. I don't even know where to buy the stuff. I don't know anything about that lifestyle, but I minister to it, but I could never lived it. You know, somebody that lived it would have been better for him that was coming out just like him. So the incompatibility, the Bible calls it unequally yoked. You can't be unequally yoked, and usually people take that to be unbelievers. Like a saved person can't marry an unsaved person, but you could be unequally yoked in other ways. You know, you just have nothing in common. It said here, the ability to fight well together. We talked about that on that particular audio. How do they handle conflict?
Yeah.
You need to ask them, how do you communicate? What makes you angry?
Yeah, what makes you tick? That's a big one.
What makes you tick? What are you afraid of? You know, sometimes people are afraid to tell you things, and I'm not talking about on the first date, you've got the checklist doing all these things, but I'm saying you're spending some time together, you need to get to know that person. What do they do when they're angry? How do they handle anger? You know, especially if you're looking for that in a potential spouse. Right, Dr. Glenn?
Absolutely.
What side of you do they bring out? When you're with them, what do they bring out? Do they bring out, they used to say it like this, do they bring out the king in you? Do they bring out the queen in you? Or do they speak to the fool in you? And now both of you are acting and arguing, and now you're off your rockers because you're being triggered by this person.
That person could be cunning and baffling.
That's right, and they've come just for that, to bring you down or bring your weakness. Watch and see, and then you could be unequally yoked financially. Now, and so money, it said here, what matters less than people think in dating? And one of the things it has here is money, but I think money is important. I think money is important, and I think you should not be discussing money or putting money out on the table right away. And I'm just telling you how I am. I ain't paying for nothing. When I date, I'm sorry. If you ain't taking me, we ain't going. We're not going. I'm not paying for nothing.
I better say that for next week. I might get carried away.
I know, Dr. Glenn, but there's some stingy brothers out there.
Yeah.
And you know, you talk about marriage, you don't have to pay for the meal. I'm sorry. I mean, and I can. I mean, we can alternate. I'm not saying that I can't do, but I'm just saying right away. You know what I mean? If you that broke, don't go on the date. Stay at home. You can't afford to date. What you dating for if you can't pay?
I'll give you a little bit, then I'll share the rest of it next week. So, yes, women are not expected to pay. Women will go to a restaurant with you. When the bill comes, she's shoveling stuff around in her purse as though she's looking for money. And all along, she don't have no intention of pulling none of that wallet.
I'm looking for my keys if I'm doing it. I'm getting my keys because it's time to go because you're going to pay. I'll meet you outside when I come from the bathroom.
She's waiting for that bill to come so they can give it to you.
That's right. And it is expected. Be a gentleman and pay. If you can't afford to go, don't take somebody to some place where you can't afford to pay. Be honest with that. You know, I can't afford this, very expensive. And stop trying to pretend to be someplace that you're not. Because as you start with people are going to want you to end there. They're going to want you to maintain that. And you know that you're just stunting and showing out for a date, Dr. Glenn.
Because he might ask her, hey, you want to go for a cup of coffee? She said, sure. He want to go to a 7-Eleven, get a cup of coffee, but she be like, hey, when we go to Morton Steakhouse, I can have some coffee with my lobster.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if he want to pay for some coffee, don't date him. He too cheap. Dr. Glenn, we're getting ready to go out on a break. We have a little bit more time. Call in, and you could be on the air with us. This is the Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Coming to Greenville, God Has Something to Say Revival from Monday, August 3rd through Friday, August 7th, 7:30 each night. hosted by Apostle Mary Mahone, along with Truth and Life Deliverance Ministry, located at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. Guest speaker, Prophet Benny Dixon, along with Pillars of Faith Prophetic Ministries of Kinston. So mark your calendars for Monday, August 3rd to Friday, August 7th, 7:30 p.m. nightly at 2121 Ion Street, Suite 108, Greenville. God has something to say revival.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Glenn Johnson Show. Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. We have reached our final 10 minutes of today's broadcast. So if you're listening and would like to call in, you still have 10 minutes to do so. Or you can just hold on till next week, because we'll do a part 2 on next week. Here's Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams.
Yes, I've said a mouthful, Dr. Glenn, but what I'm saying here is that you have to watch and make sure that, that you have some compatibility financially too. As we said, only wanting to buy a 90-something cent and then going into a convenience store to get it. No, I'm sorry. It's time to block that. You're not getting a second. What are you going out for? And you can't afford nothing except some coffee. Well, I wait till I get paid. Well, let's go when you get paid. Let's not go while you only have 98 cents for a cup of coffee. And listen, most women can take care of themselves. Most women are not starving to go out to eat because, we'll take ourselves out. We'll go out on our own and we'll do whatever we need to do. So what are you bringing to the table? A lot of times, the other person don't even have a table. Table don't even have no legs on it. Everything is taped together and super glued together because they don't have a table. What are you bringing that's going to be a blessing to that person's life?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do some males that might be single, do you think they might still have like one of them empty water jugs in their place of residency for loose change? Because if you try to date somebody, they come over and look at that, all that change, they'll be thinking, is that your bank account?
Well, they need to put that away. And then if they're sleeping on an air mattress, I see a lot of, Lord, help me, Father, help me, Jesus. I see a lot of people on social media and they're dating and there's air mattresses. You can't afford a bed. Go rent one and pay it off. But get something. You shouldn't be living like that, and that's how you live all the time. I understand you're just getting started, or if somebody's just getting started and they're starting over. When I came here, I had an air mattress. But week 2, I went and got something else. I couldn't stay on that air mattress.
I had a friend who says, I don't know if it's true or not, but he said he dated somebody. She had an air mattress. She said, but he was trying to figure out how did she get an air mattress with a headboard and a footboard. But he stayed the night over there one night, woke up, his right side of his face was on the floor because she had a slow leak. So he said, I told her, hey, why didn't you tell me you had a slow leak? She said, I told you to get up at 6:30. He's like, you know what time the air got off the mattress? How you know what time the air got off the mattress?
I'm just saying, do the best you can with what you got. But, if you're in a relationship and some years you shouldn't be in the same way, in the same condition, and that's how you live, just buying another air mattress instead of investing in a bed, and investing in a mattress. You can get one somewhere. It might not be the fanciest, but at least come up there. It also said what matters less than people think with dating is looks. I'm sorry, looks have to be on the list. How you gonna date somebody that doesn't look good to you, or or they're not attractive? How are you going to sit across the table and you're looking for that? You need to define some things and stop approaching people if you don't find them attractive, or now that you're in the relationship and as soon as you get mad about something, you're throwing up their looks. Well, you're ugly, or you got a big nose. Well, you knew that when you were dating them, or when you came up to look to date them. So if they're not attractive to you and that's something later you're going to pick out and say, and begin to call out, or you're fat, or you're skinny, or you're ashy, or you've got one eye that's off, or, you know, one ear is up higher than the other one, and you're talking about that person later, it means that there's something that you're not attracted to.
Now,
make sure there's something that you're attracted to.
Now, this doesn't apply to seniors, because seniors are pretty much set in their ways. But for anybody, particularly our young adults, so you want to date someone, and I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I know what it was. You want to go make sure the house is well furnished. The worst thing I hate to see, go to somebody's house, their bedroom, the mattress, the box spring is just on the floor. It's not on no frame or anything. The box spring is on the floor. The mattress on top of it.
Oh, yeah, get some bricks and get that thing up off the floor. You could do better. Cover it up. Nobody would know. Do the best you can with what you have. Now, you know, I've heard of a particular individual that was dating someone, and the animals were, the whole house was stink because they weren't cleaning up behind their animals. The dogs peeing and pooping all over the floor, and that it was just so bad that when they came in, the smell was overwhelming. I'm sorry. If you're nasty and dirty, that's going to be it. You're getting a block.
That's right. That's right.
Block. You can block them and don't go out, don't call no more, because we're not doing that.
Well, hopefully and thankfully, we're talking about senior dating. And like I said, our seniors are pretty much established. So you probably wouldn't have to worry about anything like that with your seniors. But I know some seniors like to have animals, not unless they're in a facility for seniors.
Well, you have to have somebody to clean up behind them too, and clean up. And I'm not just talking about seniors like, you know, somebody that can't do it, but I'm talking about though. And then if you can't do stuff, you got to look at that. You need to look and see what you're trying to, you know, what you're trying to date or who you're trying to get as a companion. Are they equal with that? Are they going to be okay? Especially if they don't like cats and dogs, and now you have a bunch of them.
We have 3.5 minutes ago, so let me say to our listeners, if you'd like for us to add something to the broadcast for next week, please don't hesitate to email me at Glenn, Glenn Johnson Show @gmail.com. Once again, that's Glenn Johnson Show @gmail.com. Please email me and we'll make it happen.
Shared hobbies. Make sure that you have something in common. How could you date someone or look to marry someone that you have absolutely zero in common? Do you make each other laugh? Are you pleasant in each other's company? What is it? There has to be something that is shared in common.
That's right. See if you're compatible.
Similar personalities. It's good to have similar personalities, but it doesn't mean that that person has to be exactly like you. Some people are looking for themselves, to date themselves and someone else.
And here's another thing. You might want to see if that person is very, very serious or if they have a sense of humor.
Sense of humor. Can you have fun together? Can you laugh together? That's what we talked about. What side of you do they bring out? Do they bring out the king and the queen, or do they bring out the fool? Do they bring out the worst side of you, or do they bring out the best side of you? Do they make you laugh? Are they pleasant? Is their spirit? How is their integrity? How is their heart? You can tell by things and spending time with people. They steal something in your presence, they're a thief.
Ladies and gentlemen, we still have some more documents to get to, but unfortunately, we have 1 minute in today's broadcast. So we'll definitely do a part 2 next week. Please join us next week for some more valuable information on senior dating. Possible to take us out and close out today's broadcast.
Hey, we know that you've enjoyed and we've given a lot of information, but as we have solicited, if there's something you'd like for us to mention concerning senior dating, get it to us. Call in or email Dr. Glenn and we'll put it on the air. Some of you, you're good at it. You've been doing it for a while. If there's something we missed or something you'd like for us to mention, please email us and we'll put it in. And we thank you so much for tuning in. We know that it's an interesting and a broad subject. And I want you to know that these tips are not just for seniors. They're for anyone that is dating. So don't just take it that these are for older people. It's for anybody. This is some good stuff that we've given out today. And we hope that you return next week so you can see the part 2 of this particular subject. Dr. Glenn?
And perhaps we'll just add, dating for anybody, any age group. So we'll include some documents on any age group along with the senior dating next week. Thank you so much, Apostle.
Hey, we know you enjoyed today, and we thank you so much. We're looking forward to next week. I'm all excited, and I'm all hyped up about it. Call in next week and tell us some things that you experienced during dating. We'd love to hear from you right here on the Glenn Johnson Show, Motivations with Glenn and Apostle Jacqueline Cullins Williams. And you are listening to us right here on Awesome Radio Network, WECU 1570 AM and 107.5 FM. We will see you right back here on next week. See you next week.
Awesome.